Stages of Professional Development. The Stages tool was developed by 3 veteran educators who worked as consultants to the Maryland State Department of Education. While many think Stages is a professional development tool for special educators, most students with disabilities spend the majority of their time in the general education classroom. As a result, the Stages tool is geared toward all teachers. Towson University Teaching Modules Development Team was led by Debbie Gartland, Project Director. On the team were Roberta Stroh-Snyder, Val Sharp, Michelle Pascoe, Lenore Chapman, Jessica Kirchen, Jessica Moore, Rebecca Malloy, and Darlene Fuster. Thank you to all the content experts and others who provided feedback on the teaching modules as they were under development, including Towson University faculty, staff, and teacher candidates, and school system and MSD personnel also. Stages was developed by MSDE using federal funds. As you view this PowerPoint, think about these questions. How would you like to improve your knowledge and skills to positively impact teaching students with disabilities? How will your improvement of knowledge and skills in teaching students with disabilities improve their achievement? The self-assessment tool was revised in 2013. It's free and it is online. The purpose for developing Stages helps determine teachers' stage that best describes their professional development in meeting the needs of students with disabilities. Also helps mentors to communicate with mentees on focused professional development. In terms of background, MSDE hired Debbie Gartland, Roberta Stroh-Snyder, and Stacy Williams to research standards-based self-assessments for teachers and to write a document for all teachers to determine their competency to meet the needs of students with disabilities and make professional development plans based on those results. The writers were asked to gain feedback from stakeholders, revise the document based on that feedback, and provide training in the use of the tool. Some of the national presentations have included the organizations listed on this slide. Each of these organizations have major impact on the preparation of teachers for and the delivery of instruction to students with disabilities. Presentations in Maryland focused on state organizations and representatives of local school systems, as well as institutions of higher education with teacher preparation programs. The steps listed on this slide are followed in the order presented, but the process is always ongoing. Lifelong learners continue this cycle throughout their career as they work toward the stage of their choice. It is not designed for teachers at any one stage of their career, but throughout their career. They self-assess the standards-based competencies, analyze the results, identify the standards and indicators upon which to focus their professional development planning, and monitor progress and update their professional development plan. Once that is completed, they go through the process again. The tool is based on the NTASC and CEC standards. It was revised in 2013 using the most recent NTASC and CEC standards. NTASC is part of the Council of Chief State School Officers. The standards were revised in 2011. More emphasis in the revised NTASC standards is placed on the learner and content. The CEC standards were reorganized from 10 standards into 7. They were reorganized in 2012. There are 5 stages in the tool, and those stages make up the conceptual framework for the tool. The first 2 stages focus on competency in terms of trying. Stage 3 is when a teacher demonstrates the competency with the support of a mentor or other professional. Stage 4 competencies are demonstrated by highly developed veteran educators who are often educational leaders in their school or school system. At Stage 5 would be those special education team leaders, staff development personnel, or perhaps at the State Department of Education level. Teachers who complete the self-assessment are encouraged to develop a professional learning plan. This plan provides a platform for recording and analysis of the results. Teachers look at the 3 highest scores and the 3 lowest. To keep the process focused, teachers are advised to address only the 3 standards on which they scored lowest at a time. The tool provides vetted online resources the teacher can use for each of these standards. The teacher is not limited, however, to using these resources. Teachers will find some resources more helpful than others, and they can note that on the professional learning plan with pluses and minuses. It is important to look at the CEC initial preparation standards and the Danielson framework components also being addressed by this PLP. Once the teacher has completed their work, usually a semester or 2, they retake stages. It is important to determine where progress has occurred and where more work is needed. This is one example of a PLP template. In some cases, teachers will have a mentor to discuss the plan, but the plan can be used without a mentor. Keep in mind, many resources can be located on the Maryland Learning Links. We have a variety of reasons to complete this work, so goals are individual and personal. Even though the cycle does not end, a time for reflection should occur periodically. It may be necessary to revise your goals or to continue working on a goal for a more extended period of time. Maryland Learning Links was developed using funds from the MSIG grant. MLL was developed to serve as the professional development resource for all facets of special education. It is a free website addressing special education professional development. Stages can be found in the Professional Practice channel. The Professional Practice channel contains background information on stages, a webinar on its use, and a professional development tracker the teacher uses to access stages. The teacher clicks on the link for the Professional Development Online Tracker to access the tool. PDOT. In addition to stages being housed on the PDOT, all of the individual assessments and scores are housed there also. Stages on PDOT is password protected to ensure privacy. A teacher can create and share a passcode with their mentor, but this is a choice that the teacher makes. Note that there is technological support. A group PIN code, for example, for a university or college class, can be requested by a teacher or department chair. The teacher or professor can have students self-assess before and after segments of a course to gauge increases in knowledge. While it is possible to use stages without actually logging in, the information cannot be saved from one online session to another. Users are requested to complete all of the registration questions. The answers to these questions guide the developers and administrators as they keep stages available. Not every group can be covered, so there is a place to list the other populations you may have taught. That is possible to navigate across the top menu bar or along the links at the bottom right corner. Self-assessment is the stages tool. The professional development resources provide you research and evidence-based resources vetted by the developers. If you find a resource that is no longer available, please contact the technological support. Certification requirements often change, and you are advised to contact MSDE directly for certification information. There can be up to 3 self-assessments sitting in a teacher's queue. Obviously, this teacher is fictitious. There is no need to complete 2 self-assessments and begin a third in one day. Note that each standard has a rubric for each of the indicators. Note that this is Standard 1, indicators A through D. This bar graph shows how this particular teacher self-assessed on the standard areas: making content meaningful, child development learning theory, and communication language. It graphically represents the areas of relative strength and weakness for this teacher. If you click on any of the standards, it will show a comparative plotting ratings over time. If you decide to share your information with a mentor, for instance, you would use this page to set the password. Don't forget to save it. This indicates some of the numerous resources on PDOT. There are articles, books, videos, state-created materials, and links to local, state, and national web pages. These resources can be bookmarked for later review. Each of these resources are matched to a standard or standards and are vetted and periodically reviewed. Moving forward, resources will be grouped based on whether the teacher is beginning, developing, or sustaining in his or her implementation of the practices. What is new about the Stages of Professional Development 2013? It was originally completed in 2009. When the standards were revised, it became necessary to revise stages. The new in-task standards and the reorganized CEC standards were used. At that time, the Common Core College and Career Readiness standards were incorporated into the indicators. The crosswalk completed on Danielson's professional development and in-task standards were referenced in a chart, as teachers strive to use both in their professional development. Stages is for an entire career, and it is non-evaluative. It is useful to all teachers at all stages of their career. The anonymous results are also helpful to school systems as they plan for professional development opportunities. As you reflect on the content of this PowerPoint, think back to how stages can lead to teacher competency and to increased achievement for students with disabilities. For more information, contact information is included for Carla Marty from MSDE and from Roberta Stroh-Snyder. Thank you for your attention.